Good morning, team. How's it going? Good morning, good morning. Who's ready to make some money today? Another interesting day where we're just going to be floating up, I guess, huh? So I'll tell you my game plan today. I actually shared my levels in Discord last night. And what I was saying basically is long still until proven otherwise. I'm not really interested in shorts in this trend. As long as we stay above yesterday's high, really, at 25,700 is what I was thinking last night. But we're having another day where there's just no pullbacks. So looking for longs, but my game plan today is kind of just to scalp. So like if we come back to VWAP, I'm not going to be holding it forever and thinking that we're going to be going to a new all-time high again. I'm just going to maybe grab 30, 40 points, whatever I can get out of it, or whatever type of momentum we have. There's this high volume node right here at 25,972. If it comes down there, could possibly take a long. If it comes down to Asia and London low and grab some liquidity, we could take a long there. This point of control. Like there's a couple areas of pullbacks that I'd be interested in scalping. I'm probably just going to be setting some limit orders so that I can catch it at what I think would be the bottom and then just riding it up for a couple points. So going to be trading a little bit different today. Normally I wait for the bigger move and try to hold it until the day's over. But I feel like yesterday and today is kind of different than normal. So these are a couple of areas that I'd be watching. So this first red dot is that high volume node right there. This is Asia and London low. They're both in the exact same spot. And then another high volume node. Yesterday's point of control and yesterday's New York anchored VWAP. That would be a decent spot. If it gets below this level here at 25,900, then it might come all the way down to 25,830-ish. But I don't know. It might be another one of those days where it kind of just floats up and doesn't really give us that pullback that we're looking for. I know yesterday I kind of got caught waiting for the pullback and it never happened. Good morning, good morning. I just realized I forgot to look at my settings and see what happened with everyone's at names. Let me Google it real quick. Oh, it's actually an update on YouTube. It says they're unique identifiers that replace or supplement usernames. It's a change that's part of an update to prevent impersonation, and it's rolling out gradually. So that's a new thing, I guess. Everyone's going to be their at name. It's rolling out gradually with some users seeing both the display name and the handle. It's not a bug, but an intended feature. Okay. So I guess you'll see it on some channels, but not on others. But it's a YouTube update. I was confused by that. Like I said, I didn't change any settings. It just showed up. Yeah, it is weird. I don't understand how that's going to prevent impersonation. Whatever. I guess there's a reason behind it. Good morning, good morning. Market's open in 5 minutes. Let me double check. So we have consumer confidence at 10 o'clock Eastern. That is a red folder event, so it could be choppy until then. And then Trump has some stuff going on this evening, but that shouldn't affect the market unless he decides to tweet about something. But his meetings are all in the evening. Tomorrow's the big day, though. I wonder what tomorrow morning is going to be like. Wonder if there's actually going to be some sort of trend or if it's going to be choppy waiting for FOMC. And then, of course, tomorrow's the big night with earnings. Big earnings week. G-Man, you said you're in a long on gold right now. Let me zoom out. Did it bounce off of a good support level? Oh, yeah. Decent support right there. Didn't quite come down to that high volume node. Just bounced before. Seems like gold could have some more downside though. Just a quick glance at the higher time frame. Looks like a little double top there and then making a low, a new low here. Yup. Could see some more down. Gosh, could come back even to like 3,500-ish. There's a lot of room down to that high volume node right there. Check that out. All right, NASDAQ, you're gonna give us a pullback? Gonna give us a chance to enter this thing? Or is it just going to be straight up again like yesterday at the open? Good morning, good morning. The gang is here. Oh, on the 1 minute chart, my red dots are huge. Let me fix that. All right, gonna be watching this short-term volume profile over here. See if we get a pullback to any of these support levels or some liquidity grabs. Looking for some longs. You guys ready for this? If you haven't already, hit that like button, you guys. Let's go. Market's open. Oh man, I was afraid of that. Just market open straight up, straight up. That's how it's going to be, huh? Goodness. You're not being very nice, NQ. Not letting me get an entry on this ride. I'm not going to chase it. Playing hard to get. It's about to go off my screen. I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit. This is just funny, you guys. I have to admit, this is new territory for me. Like, I've traded all-time highs before, but I've never traded, like, just ridiculous blow-off top, no pullback. These last 2 days have been completely new territory for me. Kind of makes me laugh. You smell some good prop firm sales brewing? Yeah. Thinking there's going to be a few blown accounts today. Well, I'm definitely not chasing this. I had to get myself in the mindset today of like, if it doesn't pull back to any of my levels, I'm okay with not taking a trade. There's going to be plenty of opportunities. Because I don't want to be one of those people blowing my accounts and having to reset today. That is not in the cards for me today. I'll just sit here and drink my coffee and hang out with you guys and not take a trade if that's how it's going to be. All right, let's at least start marking off some levels. Get our anchored VWAP on here. So far, 15-minute low and 15-minute high. It does seem like a tad bit of a slow open, so I wonder if we are waiting for that news that's in 30 minutes. Could be possible. Or the market's just processing the fact that it's at all-time highs and doesn't know what to do with itself. Who knows? I know we're only 4 minutes in, but dang, that's a slow open. 43 points so far. I'm hoping it's just because we're waiting for consumer confidence coming out in 25 minutes. If this is going to be choppy until FOMC, then that's no fun. We don't want that. ES is down. That's interesting. Kind of looks like NQ's wanting to do the same. So that's our 15-minute opening range low so far. Still 8 minutes left. That was an interesting move up. It kind of made it seem like it was just going to keep floating up. And then pretty decent drop. Let's see if we end up getting some continuation somewhere. See if I can figure this thing out. Set up to kind of watch them both. ES is getting some good selling pressure. So where's the overnight lows? Here's London and Asia low right here. If ES ends up dropping some more and grabs that liquidity, it'll be interesting to see what NQ does at that time. Steve, I just saw your question. Which prop firm? It sounds like possibly Top Step, or who is it? Steve, I I think I personally would go back to the combine. Reason being is when I blow a funded account, it messes with my head. Like it kind of rocks my confidence for a couple of days. So the last thing I would want to do is pay a $500 reactivation fee and then have that mindset of like low confidence and then end up blowing it again. Plus the fact that the Top Step combine is only a couple days. Like you'll save a lot of money. You'll also take those 2 to 5 days, however fast you trade it, to kind of get your confidence back and get back to funded. I think that's what I would do. Save the money and it'll just take a couple more days to pass. But that's just me. Watching ES kind of makes me wish I had taken a short on it. Yeah, I've noticed that the difference between MES and ES and MNQ and NQ can be different. But I have them both as the micro version. Yeah, even more so, Steve, if that was your first time being funded with Top Step and it took you that long to pass, I don't know. I guess the main thing I would say is evaluate your confidence at this level. Like if you know exactly what your mistake was and you're like, I know how to fix this, I got this, and you feel confident, then maybe go back with the $500 activation. But if you kind of feel like, dang, I tilted, I shouldn't have done that, I need to learn from my mistakes, and you're a little bit, confidence is a little bit shot, then maybe go back to the combine stage. That's the biggest thing that I would assess in my head. Interesting spot. ES is right at VWAP. I like that. NQ is kind of still chopping around in the middle of that 15-minute range. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm watching, David. It's sitting at view up, but it's not really looking super bouncy. I'm actually going to take a long here on this, on ES. Give it a little bit of room. Nope. Come on, go up. We do have our 15-minute opening range set at this point. Yeah, it's not looking like it wants to bounce. Coming for my stop. So ES broke through view up. NQ still kind of chopping in the middle. ES got heavy. Kind of looks like NQ wants to follow. So this white line on ES is the overnight low. Wonder if it's going to bounce there. NQ's wicking outside of the 15-minute opening range. Looks like more downside, perhaps. Interesting little fake out to the downside. Is this going to reject VWAP and continue down? Or was that the drop and now we're moving back to all-time highs? Looks like more downside to me, but I could be wrong. Yep, consumer confidence in 10 minutes. That's why I didn't get in a short. I could see it coming. Like when I got in this long on ES and it broke VWAP, I was like, all right, then NQ is probably going down too. But with news so close, figured it'd be safe to wait. There'll always be another opportunity that pops up. That was a nice little fake breakout to the downside and then retest of that New York anchored VWAP, and now we're getting continuation down. This first red dot that I have is a high volume node. And then obviously we have the overnight lows here. I like this second level for a possible scalp long if we're going to get more upside. Reason being is that's Asia and London low, and then this blue line is the New York anchored VWAP from yesterday. So there's some decent confluence for this general area. We can also watch what ES does when it gets to the overnight lows too. Kind of give us an indication of if we are going to get a bounce or there's going to be more downside today. Coming on down. Verisa, you think there's going to be profit taking today and then buying up tomorrow? Yeah, I don't know. I definitely feel like it could be one of those buy the rumor, sell the news things with rate cuts tomorrow. Just the question is, when is the profit taking going to happen, you know? Like, is it going to be today and we're going to get a big drop today? Or is it going to be tomorrow morning or after rate cuts tomorrow if they happen? Who knows? News in 6 minutes is probably why we're slowing down here. Just gonna wait it out. Yeah, G-Man, it's consumer confidence, I think, at 10 o'clock. It is overextended. My one thing that I keep trying to remind myself of, though, is it can be exhausted, overextended, whatever you want to call it, for a long time. Doesn't have to go fill those gaps today or this week or this month even. Well, I guess this week and this month are the same thing, but you know what I mean. If we're entering the true bull market stage, then it could stay like this for a long time. Five minutes until news. Getting a little move up here, starting to hold that opening range low. I'd like to see it pull back a little bit more, though. That was a big old jump up on ES. What the heck? Did consumer confidence get released early? What was that? Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to check Financial Juice. Did they release it 4 minutes early? 5 minutes early? Or did Trump tweet something about coming to terms with China? If someone in the chat knows what's going on, tell me. What in the world? If you guys were in a short, I definitely hope you had a stop loss on. Jeez. A pressure release from going straight down? I don't know about that. That wasn't very much down compared to how much up we've had. That kind of looked like some sort of tweet or news, like G-Man said, someone knows something. Well, I'm definitely not taking a trade right now. That was wild. Are the big dogs just playing games right now? They're pumping the price up so that they can take profits and blow everyone else's account in the meantime? Is that what's going on? There's some big orders coming through. Kind of looks like some of the big positions are starting to take profits a little bit. We've had several big orders come through in the 2650s. All right, we got consumer confidence coming in a couple seconds. If we get a pump up, I wonder if there's going to be more profit taking. We shall see. Well, that was the news. Didn't really do a whole lot. Getting a little move up. Well, we ended up holding that 15-minute opening range low. Still pretty choppy though. ES isn't giving us a whole lot of clues either. I mean, it's holding below VWAP. I don't like shorts in the middle of this range for NQ. It's still holding above that New York anchored VWAP right now. And then I would have to put my stop loss up at the range highs. There is a long way down though if it does go down. So I could see where the risk to reward would be good. You think ES is heading to 6,900 and bouncing? Yeah, that's this white line. I have that overnight VWAP or overnight levels marked off. I would take a long there if it got down there. Consumer confidence was higher than forecasted. Didn't move the markets that much though. Where are we headed? More big orders at 2660 on NQ. There's a lot of transactions going on right here. Moving back up. Dang it. I really wanted it to come down a little bit further. I wanted to take longs today. Just was a little bit of a scaredy cat. Taking it so high up here. Yeah, MB Trader, both of them, honestly, ES and NQ. Chopping around, but more of a slow grind up kind of feel. We went back up to the range highs. That's not a bad risk to reward. Still kind of chopping around VWAP a little bit though. I'm going to stay patient. The reason I don't like this is it still hasn't clearly broken above VWAP, and I would rather take a long down here if it comes down to those overnight lows. Might not give it to us, but that's where I would rather take a long. I could definitely make arguments for both sides right now. NQ looks like it's holding the range and looks like it's wanting to fight to get above that anchored VWAP. ES is holding below it and below the range. I don't like it right now. What is the Mag 7 looking like? Kind of a mixed bag. Some red, some green. Maybe it's just me having a long bias, but it kind of seems like ES is trying to explode above VWAP. Let's all go long and force it up with our sim accounts. You think that'll work? I'm going to take a long 614. Stop loss, not giving it much room. Gonna target the range high. If it does end up breaking up above VWAP and holds, then I'll adjust my stop loss a little bit tighter. Don't super trust it. Was Stockfather more brave than you or dumber than you? Don't have an amazing reason for this trade, honestly, besides the fact that NQ is holding above VWAP, even though it's choppy and ugly. And it's looking like ES is trying to break above. It's consolidating right below and it's not selling off. So I think it's going up based on that. The part that I'm not sure of is where the stop loss should go, if I should give it more room. There you go, G-Man. Good trade. Was that a long? Yep, looks like you were in a long. Cool. Still consolidating right at VWAP. Not selling off. Seems like it could go up. That's why I'm in a long. Just unsure of the stop loss placement and if it's going to happen. Obviously, I'd like to see a good close above VWAP and not a wick like this last candle. Hope we're not making a little bear flag here. Your eyes can always create different stories, right? I'm seeing consolidation at VWAP, so where it's going to break through. but then I'm also seeing a bear flag. It could break more to the downside. Who knows? We do have our initial balance set in about 13 minutes. Super small range. Weird day. What are we at so far? 64-point range. ES might not even be that far off from it. No, ES is a 20-point range. Yeah, I guess that makes sense if the market's waiting for tomorrow's rate decision FOMC meeting. When the market opened today, kind of choppy and slow, I was thinking maybe it was just waiting for consumer confidence. But that's a bummer if it's going to be choppy all day. No fun. All right, chat, I have a question for you while we're waiting for the market to decide where it wants to go. In terms of video content, what do you guys like to see more? Do you want to see like trade recaps? Does that help you kind of see what trades I'm taking and why and the strategies behind it? Do you like some of the stuff I've been doing recently on like the mental side of trading and some of the stuff that I've been working through? Most of those videos, honestly, are lessons where I'm talking to myself, like talking to you guys as I'm talking to myself, and things that I'm getting better at and working through currently. So trading psychology, trade recaps, strategies, how I mark my levels, expanding on that. Like, what kind of stuff do you guys want to see? I know there's some of you in the chat who watch all of it, and I appreciate that. So tell me what you want more of, or something different. I've had a couple people ask about trade recaps. I need to start doing that. More about my journey. A lot of that would be more like some of the mental side of the trading psychology stuff that I've been working through myself. All right, trade recaps and kind of some of the mental stuff, mental learning. How do I define my bias? Are you asking me that now or like doing a video on it? Doing a video. Okay. I would have to think on that, Hector. That one's tough because I don't really have like a specific checklist or bullet point list of like, this is how I figure out what my bias is for the day. I think it's kind of just been from hours of looking at charts and zooming out to the higher time frame and just kind of seeing. I usually have a level that I'm watching based on the higher time frame. I'm zooming out to like the 1 hour or the 4 hour, depending on how far out I need to zoom. A specific level I'm watching, and I'll say like, if it's above this level, then I'm looking for longs. If it falls below, I'm looking for shorts. That's usually how I do it. But I don't know if I can explain it well enough to make a video on it. It's definitely one of those things that I don't know if it's because there's a lot of different things in my head that bring it all together to find the levels or to find my bias, or if it's something that I'm still new-ish to and I can't explain it simply enough. I don't know. I would have to think on that one. NQ is starting to break below that anchored VWAP. ES is still chopping around here. Joe O'Leary, I chart him manually. The point of control, you can't even see it, the point of control and stuff now because it's so far down. But these, I use the session volume profile indicator and mark them off and then turn off the indicator to keep the chart a little bit cleaner. But Asia low, London low, I mark those off manually. And then the gray areas, I mark those off using the visible range volume profile. No, I just flip between them on the time frames. I don't have them on different screens. I just have my laptop and then one extra screen. So I don't have a ton of room with like 6 monitors and stuff like a lot of people do. So I found this out not too long ago. You guys are probably going to laugh, but I just realized that you can actually like type on your keyboard what interval you want to be at. I used to come up here with my mouse and click on them. Don't make fun of me. I'm not dumb. I'm just slow sometimes. But that's how I flip between my time frames. The session volume profile indicator is in TradingView. Is this one right here. Just type in session volume profile. And then I believe it's already set to the New York trading session, but you might have to go in and change the hours. So SVP, and what it does is it shows the volume profile for the New York session. And I mark it off from the previous day's session. That's how I get these levels. Somewhere back there. So previous day session volume profile, I mark off point of control, value area high, value area low, and then I turn it off so it's not in the way. NQ's coming down. ES is still chopping around these VWAPs, but looking like it wants to come down. We do have 3 minutes left in the initial balance until levels are set. Right now, though, it's right here. So it'd be interesting if it came just below that level and bounced off of VWAP. Maybe take a long watching this level. Joe, Larry, you can use the fixed range in VWAP, or in Project X. So come over here to the left. It's on the projections tools. Go to the fixed range volume profile. And then you'll go to the 1 minute chart, but you basically just click on the 9:30 Eastern candle and then drag it over to the closing candle, so 4 p.m. Eastern. And you can create it yourself. So that white line would be point of control, value area high is the top of the shaded region, and the bottom of the shaded region is value area low. It's the exact same thing. I just use the indicator because it does it for me. But that's how you can do it in Project X. Well, ES held that level. Let's see if NQ gets a bounce. I would consider a long if NQ came down a little bit further to VWAP, like 26, 24-ish. Nope, I'm still in it. Can you see it on my screen here on the left? My stop loss is down here. That's on the right. Left, right, you know. You know what I meant. I don't get the feeling that NQ wants to completely go down. I just would want to see it come a little bit lower, like here. Oops, that's the short tool. I would take a long and maybe target back to the top of the range. Something like that. If it came down to VWAP 26.24. Not really getting much continuation today. Well, it's at VWAP. Is it going to bounce? It did break IB low. If it bounces here, could be a failed auction setup. I don't know though. It's looking a little sad. Looking kind of sad. All right, I'm in 2634 on another account, so it's on a different screen. 2634 is where I entered. I'm going to put my stop loss just below that wick, 2621. Let's see if it continues. Back up to the range high is kind of what I'm aiming for. Normally I target the midpoint of the range, and I might even do that. That's just so close. We'll see how price goes. Today's point of control is right at the New York anchored VWAP. So that would be a good spot to take some profits. Yeah. On the other left. Are you making fun of me, Renzo? All right, so this trade right here that you guys can see on the screen, that's in a TradeDay account I have, so it can actually be linked to TradingView. This one is on my Lucid account, so it's on Project X. So it's on a different screen, but one long NQ and one long ES. Now that we're getting a bit of a move up, I'm going to tighten it to just below that wick. So 26.22 is where I'm putting my stop loss. Let's see if we hit back to the top of the range on both. Let's go. Don't beat yourself up too much, G-Man. I wouldn't say it's flying necessarily. It is rejecting VWAP, so who knows? There could be some more downside. Take a little, you probably have this drawn up already, but take a look at that fib, see if it comes back to like 39.43-ish. To the 0.5, there's also decent support here on the left if you think it's going to continue up more. So Wiki, I don't like this. That's why I have my stop loss super tight. Definitely some people taking profits. All right. About to hit my stop loss on NQ. Let's see if it bounces here. This is ugly. This is making me think it's not going to go back up to the range high just because there are a lot of people taking profits right now. Might be safer just to come back up to VWAP point of control area or get stopped out. I'm out of my NQ position. What indicators or features are missing on Project X that I like on TradingView? From what I've experienced with VWAP on Project X, it's not super accurate. Like it kind of depends on what price is on the screen, like how zoomed in or out you are, and it moves. So I don't like VWAP on Project X. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, the session volume profile, which Joe O'Leary was talking about earlier, but you can do that manually with the fixed range volume profile. So most things that I use can be done on Project X. I think VWAP is the biggest one. Another thing too is if you're trading with multiple prop firms on Project X, you can't copy your charting over to different prop firms. Like if I chart in Lucid, it won't pull up on my TradeDay or Tradeify, or for example. But that's not a huge deal, I guess. That's why I like TradingView, is to have everything in one spot. NQ's pulling down, still kind of hovering at VWAP. It could go higher. I'm still in my ES position. I don't love it though. I'm going to see how this 5-minute candle closes. Looking like it wants more downside. Might just close out my ES position early. Waffles, long, short, maybe go back to long. Yeah. Today's interesting. It's a tough day. All right, I'm closing out my ES position. Looks like it's coming down cut my loss a little bit smaller. So that was about 100-point loss or $100 loss. So if it comes down to this overnight level on ES, about 6,900, I would be interested in a long. NQ, same idea. If it comes down to like this Asia low level, 25,944-ish, I'd be watching for long. So I'm going to set an alert here and then here. Those are levels I'd be watching. Kind of seems like we might just be choppy and indecisive for the rest of the day. Market's waiting for the news release tomorrow, it feels like. We need a new indicator. Schizophrenic index. Anxiety meter. All right, guys, I think I'm going to call it on the stream. I'll still be watching these levels. Like I said, I have those alerts set. If it does end up coming down there, I might take another trade. But for now, going to call it. There is not a whole lot I'm interested in right now. Kind of just chopping around. But I'll be in Discord hanging out. So if you haven't joined, there is a link in the description for Discord. If you haven't hit the like button, hit that on the way out. And then check out any of the prop firms too. If you guys are getting any new prop firm accounts, use code Krista. I'd appreciate it. Have a great day, you guys. Take care.